Thank you.
I start my speech with, good morning, but now I have to start my
Good
speech with
afternoon.
good
Good
afternoon,
morning.
all distinguished panelists and eminent people from the academy, industry, and various chemical companies, and the panelists, like distinguished professors like Rakesh Kumar Vij and Professor Kandal and Professor G.D. Yadav sir and eminent CEOs like Vilas Taude, who was the CEO of SR Group, and then and other distinguished panelists. Good afternoon to each and every one of you, and distinguished participants also. A very warm welcome to all my industry colleagues, leaders, and experts from the oil and gas community and the chemical industry who are associated with the oil and gas industry. We know the chemistry starts the creation of the this universe starts with the molecules of the chemistry. When we disaggregate get into the thing, it is all starts from the chemistry actually. And I hope all of you and your families are healthy and safe. And I would like to appreciate Confogo for organizing this virtual conference. And it is my pleasure to be virtually present. I'm emphasizing that at second Global Chemical Application Conference. It is an exciting opportunity to exchange views, share knowledge, expertise, and experiences in the oil and gas sector and in the chemical industry sector, who has the applications in the oil and gas industry and its various applications both in the oil and gas and associated sectors. Uh, uh, we are all joining this conference in unprecedented times from the safe confines of our homes in different parts of the country. The world has been turned upside down by COVID 19, which is akin to some of the worst black swan events in the modern world's history. It has pushed the governments, businesses, people to their boundaries. Its impact can be felt across the geographies and sectors. The impact is further exacerbated by increasing global debt levels, ongoing challenges in world trade, as well as the constraints faced by the manufacturing sector caused by slowing capital expenditure in some of the key economies and by the global deceleration of the automobile industry. The ramifications of COVID 19 will continue to reverberate for quite some time throughout the world. As you are all aware, this is the testing time for humanity and industries across the globe. Oil and gas is one of the sectors which got affected with this pandemic situation. Most of you might have read in the recent newspapers several people becoming COVID positive on ONGC's installations in the offshore because it's a closed circuit, closed air conditioned living quarters. One person is infected, the rest of the crew gets infected, and bringing them back to the shore and the operations to continue both on the platforms and the drilling rig. It's really a tough condition. With stoppages of international flights and domestic mobility coming to a standstill across the globe on account of lockdowns, across many countries, the demand of petroleum suddenly plummeted. The crude prices hit the floor. It has went into one night futures trade, of course. It went into the minus $37 owing to the cause because of the shortage in the storage facilities as the demand has plummeted. This has impacted the oil and gas companies across the globe. As we adopt to this new normal, the situation is now improving, and of late the crude prices have touched 45, and again last few days it has gone down to 39-40 levels. I hope this would be back to pre-COVID era very soon, where the industry has to sustain it should the crude oil prices be required in the range of $60 to make a reasonable amount of profit as well as the sustaining the operations. Directorate General of Hydrocarbons, as you know, is an independent body under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and it has a law. It has been entrusted the role with regard to reservoir management of the fields within the country and the opening of the E&P sector. It has taken a large role as a facilitator instead of being a regulator or a overseer or the contractual obligations which have been met and monitoring of the contracts, and is working concurrently with the industry at large towards elevating the business climate for all the stakeholders. I think Mr. Vilas Tavde agrees with me. During this pandemic situation also, we had several interactions across the oil and gas industry, and we had taken up the issues faced by them and the feedback which has been obtained by them. Of course, a lot of suggestions have been made during his presentations now also. And during this pandemic period itself, we have taken a host of initiatives and policy reforms have been taken, and the government of India also has agreed with the suggestions of the TGH, and move towards with an objective to increase the exploration activities and attract domestic and foreign investment in explored and unappraised areas of the sedimentary basins to enhance the domestic production of oil and gas from the existing fields, and with the aim of ease of doing business. The initiatives encompasses solutions involving streamlining of the operations, relaxation of the timelines, minimization of impact on production activities while adhering to the regulations and approvals, and simplification of the procedures and processes, etc. These looks, these simple policies. These simple policies can play a role or can improve the industry environment to a great extent. This may be a small job from the government side, but it will have a huge impact on the industry. You can make the industry and you can break the industry with that type of policies. Our efforts are aimed towards intensifying exploration and expediting production to enhance domestic output and reduce import dependency, as it has been said by our Honorable Prime Minister, 10% reduction in the import of the energy. All our policies are aligned to it basically. The key policy reforms which have been taken in the recently, I will just tell in the form of headlines only. Bidding exclusively on work program in category 2 and category 3 basins, and entry to next exploration phase pending resolution of unfinished minimum work program, grant of area extending beyond contract area if the reservoir extends to the adjacent areas, and incentivizing the enhanced gas production, enhancing production from existing nomination fields of ONGC and oil, and permission has been granted for exploration and exploitation of unconventional hydrocarbons such as shale oil, gas, CBM in the existing PSCs and nomination fields. And we have made several policies with regard to enhanced recovery and improved recovery policy, which has been touched upon by many people, many industry leaders, and academicians also, with regard to collections and processes. And approval has been given to explore and exploit coal bed methane from areas under coal mining lease allotted to Coal India Limited and its subsidiaries. The global oil and gas sector is facing significant challenges, mainly due to COVID-19. The twin shocks of unprecedented demand slowdown in tandem with the supply surplus has upended oil markets, which has plummeted crude oil price. Disruption in production as well as demand destruction compounded by lower crude and gas prices are bound to send sack waves across the sector in a short term. This will severely impact financial year 2021 financials, along with the strong ripple effect on the financials of subsequent 2 to 3 years. In these wave of disruptions, and existing oil and gas assets will play a major role for an organization to sustain in these unprecedented times. A holistic approach towards operational excellence across value chain will enhance the enterprise optimization, which is also the need of the hour. With the aim of achieving operational excellence, the science of chemistry and chemical engineering has joined petroleum engineering to play an important role in production of oil and gas. Conversely, the petrochemical industry is also highly dependent on the crude oil and natural gas feedstocks. Many people keep talking about the electric vehicles and the doom of the oil and gas industry. No, it is not going to soon happen. And especially for a country like India, which is 80-85% import dependent, and even if we transform half of our basically half of our transport fleet into electricity driven, we still have a lot of scope. We have the refineries and we have the chemical and a lot of petrochemical industry. We need these crude oil and gas. Chemicals play a pivotal role in carrying out petroleum operations, starting from initial reconnaissance, prospective time. It starts with the geochemical prospecting, and then we go into the drilling areas, which Professor Rakesh Vij has brought out. Its application starts from that stage. While drilling, you use the chemicals in the mud chemistry, and then we utilize in analyzing the geological samples and lot of application with regard to UR and IOR and other things. It starts from the reservoir to the refinery and even to the sub products after the refinery, and refined by improving productivity and ensuring health, safety, and environment compliance. The focus on maximizing the return on your investment. There are many chemicals such as polymers, drilling mud, emulsifiers, anti-scalants, friction reducers, gel breakers, corrosion inhibitors, hydrogen sulfide scavengers, which are being used across oil and gas value chain, assisting the oil and gas companies in carrying out operation effectively and efficiently. Chemical as simple as corrosion inhibitor is used in variety of applications, including injection wells, gas plants, refineries, transport lines, and barges, which reduce costs and extend the working life of the capital assets such as the process equipment, pipelines, storage, tanks. So, in a nutshell, this chemical industry has wide applications with great magnitude of ramifications to the petroleum industry. In addition to corrosion inhibitor, hydrogen sulfide scavengers assist the organization in mitigating the risk associated with hydrogen sulfide, leading to improving working life of the assets and ensuring safe operations. The usage of chemicals seems to be very small part of operations, but the contribution they bring in carrying out petroleum operations is of immense value in terms of return on investment. Being from upstream oil and gas sector, I can provide you a simple example of usage of polymers under enhanced oil recovery methods, for which Government of India has introduced a policy providing fiscal incentives on your IOR methods. Whatever is the incremental oil which you are producing, by applying these methods are incentivized both in respect of the royalty and the price freedom, and various other fiscal incentives have been brought into the thing. And a ER screening committee has been formed by the Government of India. The industry, whichever is comes with the proposals, these ER proposals are screened, and at a pilot stage it's tested and it is implemented, as we have more and more effective chemicals which can improve the recovery, which will increase in turn the domestic production. In Indian sedimentary basins, major fields contributing significantly in domestic production are mature fields. So there was a need to assist the operators in making enhanced recovery projects commercially viable. In line with the vision of ease of doing business and reducing import dependence by increasing domestic production, Cabinet has approved the ER and IOR policy in 2018. The policy has also been implemented with the strategic objective of building a supportive ecosystem through academic, research institutes, and industry academia collaboration, and to support and encourage exploration and production contractors to deploy ER and IR method. In fact, on this ER committee, the professors from the PDPU, which Rakesh Vijji is also there, and the professors from the Dehradun UPS and some of the IITs are the committee members in order to preliminary scrutinize these proposals. The policy is expedited to facilitate induction of new and innovative cutting-edge technology and forging technological collaboration to improve productivity of existing mature fields. The fiscal incentives are extended in the form of partial waiver of applicable cess royalty on incremental production resulting from the adoption of ER methods on designated wells. These fiscal incentives will lead to technological interventions which have significant potential in stimulating the recovery of hydrocarbon reserves from the matured and aging fields, as we have many of the fields in India are belongs to this category. Currently, projects of approximately $120 million have been approved for pilot phase, and few projects are under evaluation by DGH and MOPNG. These projects are expected to increase the domestic production, which is one of the measures of reducing hydrocarbon import dependency. Why I am telling is to my industry friends, there is a lot of potential when all these UR projects take up. The chemical industry which is involved in this UR, IOR have the opportunity so that they can bring in the chemicals at a cheaper rate and reducing the cost of production, and which will aid in the making the profit for whoever is implementing the UR and IOR policies. In this current uncertain and disruptive business environment, oil and gas companies in collaboration with the government need to find new ways to embrace operational excellence, which would be cost-effective measure leading to sustainable growth of the Indian oil and gas sector. And of late, we have seen we need to take care of with regard to HSE also. Of late, there was a blowout condition in Oil India Limited and the oil tanker catching the fire in the Indian Ocean near the Sri Lanka coast. These aspects also have to be taken. Chemical industry can aid in dousing these fires, these oil and gas fires more easily. Maybe a innovative chemical methodology or the techniques which can immediately extinguish these fires at a faster pace. I remember the famous writer William Shakespeare has quoted once, "The sweet are the uses of the adversity," which clearly points out that some of the best lessons of life can be learned from the worst of the situation which we are facing now, which is one of the black swan events in the history of the mankind. So during the present difficult times, let us not lose hope and but stay mindful and courageous while learning and adapting to new ways to overcome the present dilemma. Also, we need to imbibe such business ethics as are more environment friendly, harmonious with nature. We all need to come together and work in tandem to get through this rough patch. I would like to end my note by thanking you all for your presence in this conference and looks forward to the focused and result-oriented discussions. I hope the participants would gain immensely from the deliberations among the distinguished panelists. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be a chief guest in this conference, and I could share my thoughts. I could share the actions of the government of India in this direction. The why I told is as more and more E&P activities start in the country, the chemical industry, which has applications in the oil and gas industry, will also gain. We should make India not only the hub of consumption, we should also make hub of the technology, hub of the production, hub of the innovations in both in chemical and we have seen the importance of India in the pharma industry in this difficult situation. We need to be leaders in all the areas of activity of oil and gas exploration and production. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.